Alright, hey everyone, welcome to Down Home Backyard Gardening. Now, what I want to talk about today are some tips for growing garlic. I mean, it's the fall, it's that time of year to get your garlic in the ground. So I thought, why not do a short video on tips that I've learned and some that I've researched on the best things to do to grow good garlic. So, if you're all ready for this video, sit back, relax, grab a pen and paper, and let's grow. Okay, so very first tip that I would recommend is you need to make sure that your soil is a well-draining soil. Garlic does not want to sit in a bunch of soupy, soggy soil. It needs to be well-draining, and what I would recommend, have soil that drains so well that it will force the roots of the garlic to grow and stretch to find that water. That will do nothing but make the cloves and the bulbs just that much bigger. So, tip number one, well-draining soil. Important. Very, very, very important. Okay, so tip number two is really just a rule for growing garlic. Garlic grows best in the winter time. So whether you're up north or down south, the winter is when garlic will grow the best inside the ground. So plant your garlic between autumn to spring. Most garlics take between 7 and 9 months to fully develop and be ready to harvest. So make sure that when you plant your garlic, that it's in an area of your garden that you do not need for 7 to 9 months. This is a plant that takes a long time to grow. So you have to have patience. You have to just be ready to allow your garlic to properly grow, because it does take time. Tip number three is grow varieties of garlic. Don't just grow one type of garlic. And what I like to do is every year try a new garlic. This year, I'm trying the elephant garlic. These bulbs are huge, like baseballs. So that's what I'm trying this year, but I highly recommend growing multiple types of garlic to find out which garlic you like the best, which garlic grows best where you are at. And it's just fun to have a variety of plants in the garden, and garlic could easily be one of those type of plants where you can grow multiple varieties of the same type of plant. Number four, make sure that you mulch your beds. Once the garlic starts to come up through the ground, start laying down your mulch, especially if you're in a cold area. Hardneck garlics love the cold. In fact, they need the cold to grow. But protect the bulbs themselves by laying down a thick layer of mulch, especially if it's really cold. Down in the southern parts of the country or in warmer climates, maybe a thin layer of compost as a mulch is what I do here, will work for you. The importance of mulching is to protect the plants, the bulbs, protect them from the freezing cold, but it's also to help add nutrients to the soil. So that's why when I mulch, I lay down a thin layer of compost. That way, as it's breaking down and the compost is providing the protection that mulch would, it's also adding all that extra nutrients into the soil. So you're basically amending your soil while you're growing. So it's a win-win. But be sure to mulch depending on where you are and what your location requires. Number five, make sure you know the difference between hardneck garlic and softneck garlic, because that does matter depending on where you are and what your climate is. Hardneck garlics need the cold. Like, they need 40 days of below 40-degree weather to really put on size and mature in the ground. Softnecks don't need that. They need mild winters, and they're best in the south, zones 8 and lower, like 8 through 12. So you don't want to plant a softneck garlic up north, because it's not going to survive. The chances of it surviving are very, very low. Now, you can plant hardneck in the south. It'll do fine. It might not produce as well, and they might not get as big, but they will still grow. But it's very important to know which type of garlic you have when you're planting them, especially if you're in the cold climates. You have to know. Here's a few things about hardneck garlic. The bulbs will have fewer cloves, but those cloves will be larger. That's one characteristic of a hardneck garlic. Also, they're easier to peel whenever you're using them for cooking or whatever. The skin is thicker, so it peels off a lot easier. Most cooking garlics are softneck garlics, so they have that real thin layer of skin around the clove that's a pain to pick off whenever you're using them for cooking. Also, hardneck garlics will last about 3 to 5 months in a normal storage situation. They don't last a super long time. So you got to keep that in mind whenever you decide to plant a hardneck garlic. Also, hardneck garlics develop the garlic scapes, and those are actually very edible and very good to add to stir fries and other types of food. So that's a characteristic of a hardneck garlic. Now, so softneck garlics will have a larger bulb and a lot more cloves, but the cloves will be normally small. Again, those are the cloves that you usually use whenever you're cooking. Those are normally a softneck garlic, and softneck garlics can actually last up to 9 months in storage if cured and stored properly. So again, whenever you're picking out your garlics that you're choosing to grow, be sure to take into account everything about that variety of garlic. It's very important. Okay, tip number 6, whenever you are planting your garlic and you get those cloves, say you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or you order them offline and you get the bulb and you break down the bulbs into the cloves, the best thing to do is to plant the larger cloves. Those will more than likely produce larger bulbs. So if you have a limited amount of space and you have a lot of large cloves and then some few small cloves, plant the larger ones first, and then if you have room, why not plant the smaller ones? You're probably going to get smaller bulbs when they grow, but it's still more garlic. But it is important that if you are going to plant in a very limited area, pick out the best seeds like you would if you were planting anything else. So pick out the best cloves, the biggest cloves to plant. And then a bonus tip, whenever you're planting, make sure that when you get the clove, there will be a flat side and there will be a pointy side. Easiest way to remember how to plant garlic is the flat side goes down and the pointy side looks to the sky. Pointy side to the sky, flat side to the ground. Put that down, put the clove into the hole just like that, cover it up. Once you've covered it up, then you just sit back, make sure you water it in really good, and then you're just waiting for it to grow. All right, everybody, I hope this video was helpful, especially if you're a beginner gardener and you're trying to plant garlic for the first time. These tips will totally help you and prepare you for at least a little bit of what's to come when planting garlic. Again, just be prepared to give it plenty of time. Make sure you do not need to use that section of the garden. Sit back, relax, and just wait till they grow. Okay, so before I end this video, I want to invite everyone to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, I would absolutely appreciate it. Just click that little icon in the bottom right corner of the video right here. Hit that little bell so you're always notified whenever I upload videos. Also, go over to farmersdefense.com if you are looking for any kind of gardening apparel, hats, straw hats, shirts, you name it, they got it. In checkout, type in backyard 10, save you 20%. Everybody, I really hope this video was helpful. If it was, please share it, please like the video, and until next time, continue to shine bright and harvest hard. Bye. Okay, tip number 5. Is this number 5? Yes. Tip number 5, make sure you know